Good afternoon, sir. My name is Zoey, and my group members are Maryam, Hashma, Chen Yang, Yuan, and Liu Wen Xi. Our chosen brand is Nestle, and the scandal that we choose specifically is about their infant formula scandal that happened during the 1970s and 1980s. And I just want to mention like all the images, all the graphics that we added in our slides are either related to the scandal or are just products under Nestle. So for the first part, I'll just give a brief introduction about Nestle. So Nestle is a Swiss company that has been running for 113 years, and their first store opening in Malaysia in was in 1912. And their products, they have a lot of products, so I'll just mention some. Includes Nescafe, Nestea, and Milo, Kit Kat, the chocolate, and then their pet food like Purina and Friskies. They also have milk, yogurt, and creamer products. And besides that, they also have Maggie and breakfast cereals such as Honey Star, Cornflakes, and Cocoa Crunch. So this part will be about Nestle's market size and reputation. First of all, Nestle's headquarters is in Vivi, Switzerland. They have about 330 factories in 75 countries and stores in 190 countries. As for their size, they have 2,000 brands in their portfolio, including Starbucks and Haagen-Dazs, as stated there. And they have 270,000 plus employees globally, and with 6,000 plus from Malaysia. As for they earn 100 plus billion USD for their 2024 annual revenue. And as for their reputation, they are they are known to be reliable. They have quality items and they are rich. They reach globally, very wide reach, and they are innovative in nutrition, health, and sustainability. The Nestle infant formula scandal refers to the company's unethical marketing in the 1970s and 1980s, especially in developing regions like Latin America and Africa. Nestle sales representatives dressed as nurses distributed free formula samples in hospitals to convince new mothers that formula was better than breast milk. This practice discouraged breastfeeding and created a reliance on formula, eventually sparking a global boycott. But why did the boycott happen? It was because Nestle's tactics were seen as aggressive and misleading. By giving free samples, the company disrupted breastfeeding, forcing mothers to later purchase costly and often inaccessible formula. Also, by using sales staff dressed as nurses, it blurred the line between medical guidance and marketing. In many developing areas, unsafe water supplies led mothers to mix formula with contaminated water, causing diarrhea, contamin- causing diarrhea, malnutrition, and infant death. Some families also over dilute the formula in order to save money, thus reducing its nutritional value. The marketing implied that breastfeeding was inferior, undermining mothers' confidence despite breastfeeding being healthier and safer for infants.
Hi everyone, I'm Chen. I will talk about the stakeholder analysis. So first, identify affected parties. So in this case, several groups are affected. Parents and caregivers rely on correct information to feed their babies. Infants are the most vulnerable because they consume the product. Nestle's employees and management are affected because the controversy hurts the company's image. Regulators and NGOs also get involved because this issue concerns public health. Lastly, the whole community is affected when breastfeeding rates change. Then it's about the how the issue affects them. So misleading claims may cause parents to choose formula unnecessarily. So this can cause like infants to miss the health benefits of breast milk. Regulators need to check if Nestle's violated the WHO code. NGOs have to spend time and resources responding to the issue. Employees and management face public criticism and pressure. So, and if breastfeeding rates drop, society may face long-term health problems. So now it's about the responsibility of the company. Nestle says it follows science and supports breastfeeding, but some of its marketing messages are still confusing to parents. Even if the company follows national rules, it may not fully follow the WHO code. NGOs found inconsistencies in Nestle's marketing, showing weak transparency. So this suggests the company uh, prioritized like sales more than public health.
First, advertising theory, effect on desire. Some words make parents feel the formula exits a conflict with the breast milk. For example, the Nestle use closest to breast milk, inspired by breast milk. The advertising control parents' emotion. For instance, they want to give the baby's best things, stimulate parents' anxiety and desire for shopping. This action obey the ethics as they controls our emotion, but actually they are virtually. Second, effect on belief. They put the misleading information to prove their products can really replace breast milk, denying the original cognition to parents with the products. The ad announced different formulas in different countries, break consumers' honesty for authenticity, obey the WHO standards, which has prohibited the comparison between the milk powder and breast milk. Against the bottom of law, that is, ad can't publish false news. Third, social effect. Affect public health. Example, the baby may not draw enough nutrition. As a differentiate to announcements, some parts news may cause partial mistakes. The productivity chain may cause break due to consumers' confusion. As a result of the balance between mother and baby, some disobey measures in Malaysia local.
Hello, I'm Maryam, and I'll be talking about the ethics of rights and justice under our case. So, talking about ethics of rights and justice, there's two parts, as we know. So, we've got to focus on the rights theory within the consumer and also justice theory. So, focusing on the rights theory, focusing on consumer rights, we know that every individual have the right to safety, the right to accurate information, and also to make free and informed choices. And businesses like Nestle, in this case, they have to respect these rights and also avoid actions that may manipulate or deceive the customers. So, in our case, in the Nestle baby formula scandal, there were rights that were clearly violated because Nestle's sales agents, as you can see in the picture here, they're dressed as nurses, which led the mothers into believing the formula was medically recommended while they was trying to market this product. So this violates the right to truthful information and also accurate information. Also, the company implied that the formula was superior to breastfeeding, which was really manipulative, considering this created the dependency. Also, since the mothers were not informed about the health risks of preparing and giving this formula to the babies without clean water, since this was in the third world countries, this was a serious violation of rights to safety for both the kids and also family because they weren't given the full information, and their right to free and informed choices were also affected because mothers didn't understand the consequences of relying on the formula. So, under rights theory, we can conclude that these Nestle's actions were clearly unethical because they violated many key consumer rights, and also the deceptive marketing they used to exploit these mothers and families in the developing countries. So moving on to justice theory, we know that justice theory. Under justice theory, there are many branches, but we'll be focusing on the compensatory justice, which says the companies should compensate for the harm that consequences or harm they produce when their actions cause harm. So, looking at this Nestle baby formula scandal, using this product, many infants got sick, even malnourished, and also they died. In some cases, they caused death as well because mothers became dependent on an expensive product, which was unreliable in this society and community. And this expensive product, they couldn't really use it and buy it as they wanted. Also, communities in this region had to deal with negative health outcomes. But Nestle did not provide any compensation, whether it was financial, medical, or community support, because a lot of family had to go through this burden. So, under compensatory justice, we can say that Nestle's actions were unethical because they 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 failed to take responsibility for the harm caused to these families, the infants, and also the communities in this area. Talking about the third theory that we've chosen, utilitarianism theory, this theory focuses on creating the greatest happiness and also minimizing the harm, and evaluating whether an action has brought right or is it wrong based on its consequences. So, within the Nestle baby formula scandal, their company promoted this formula as a beneficial alternative to breastfeeding, as mentioned before. But since I've highlighted in the previous slide as well, the consequences were more harmful than beneficial because a lot of babies, infants suffered from diarrhea, malnutrition, and also there was increased mortality, meaning that a lot of babies and infants died here. So these consequences were very severe in the communities with limited access to clean water and also proper healthcare. Yes. So, beyond the health risks, there were long term impacts as well, like families facing financial burdens while trying to repeatedly buy this product to give to their infants. This caused the breastfeeding rates to decline. So, because of this, the overall community well being was negatively impacted as well. So, these harms that I've mentioned before within this slide and the previous slide, these harms were greater than the short-term benefits Nestle gained whilst trying to sell the product. So under utilitarianism theory, all of these actions, they produce more harm than happiness. So this is unethical. This is why it would be considered as unethical, because even though the company profited, vulnerable mothers and also infants suffered serious negative consequences. So Nestle failed to create the greatest good, making their actions very unethical according to this theory.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Zhang Yuan. Now I will present the recommendation section of our report. This part explains the 4 actions that Nestle should take to improve its marketing practices and rebuild public trust. First, we suggest improving the quality of product labels, especially for infant formula. Parents rely on label instructions, so mixing steps and water safety tips must be easy to understand. Nestle should also avoid wording that may mislead parents about the formula and breast milk. Clear and honest labeling helps parents make safer decisions for their babies. Next, we recommend that Nestle follow the home marking guidelines more strictly. This includes removing practices like giving free symbols and ensuring sales staff do not just like medical workers. Their steps prevent confusions between marketing and medical advice and support more ethical communication. For the third recommendation, we suggest that supporting community education and clean water projects. Many families, especially in developing regions, may not know how to prepare formula safely or may not have access to clean water. Working with local organizations can reduce health risks and provide long-term benefits for children and families. Finally, we recommend creating an independent ethical marketing committee. This committee would review marketing materials, ensure our information is honest, and publish a yearly transparency report. This can rebuild public trust and prevent similar issues from happening again. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.